All right, I've got my 3D printer in here in my room. It's sitting on a little table. Had it maybe a month, something like that. I've been initially I was going through more of a learning curve on the files to print than I was on the printer. I did the initial bed leveling manually, and then once I had the manual kind of roughed in pretty darn close, then I did an automatic bed leveling and adjusted the Z offset on that, and that's plugged into the main board or memory in there, and it seems to remember it even if the power is turned off, the machine's unplugged, it remembers that offset. So the bed leveling excuse me, auto bed leveling on the Anycubic Chiron is works extremely well once you grasp the little basics of it. The only thing I had, and the only problem I have, and I don't have that out here with me to show you, is the bed leveling is a separate little device that magnetizes under the bottom and plugs in up the top. And when I plugged it into the top, it locked in. And when I went to pull it out, it pulled the whole little locking edge of the plug out with it. So I got that apart, put that back in to the head, and just trimmed the little locking ears off for the plug, because it doesn't really need a lock in. It's only going to go on there one time and maybe never again. Probably go back on there if I replace the nozzle, because we're talking, you know, fractions of a millimeter. So if anything's off in the manufacturing of the nozzle replacement or a new hot end or whatever like that, you probably want to redo the leveling. But anyway, so what have I been doing? Well, initially when I first got it going, my wife, she went nuts, and I had printed what's called a 3D Benchy, which is a thing to do a little testing of the printer with, and she fell in love with that thing and wanted me to blow it up and make some for the grandkids. So I blew up what was about this long, and there again, she took them, so I don't know where they're at. The Benchy was about this long, and I blew it up to about like this. And so anyway, that getting her little wish list out of the way took me a little while. The next thing I worked on is some mounts to mount cameras, not only on the Chiron but on other things. And I found a lot of little knobs that you could use, but what I ended up coming up with was this deal right here. I basically printed a knob that I could, hopefully you can see this, I printed a little knob that I could then stick a 1/4-20 bolt in. And now it is a little loose, but I figured, well, better a little loose, and I could glue that nut, that bolt in there if I wanted to. I mean, it doesn't really fall out, but what it allows to do is screws in the bottom of the camera. And, you know, so there's some out there that are 3D printed with the bolt and everything on it. I figured, why go through all the trouble of trying to dial in perfectly for a bolt for what I want when you can just make it where it'll insert a bolt in it. And so that's what I did. Then I had printed an initial camera mount to go on the printer that somebody else had designed. A couple things I didn't like about it is this edge was real thick here, and on this particular, on the printer here, it would only go on one side, and then this offset was too low for what I needed for my cameras. So I did some testing, and I came up initially with this one. I modified that design to make this. And this clips over here on that side, right there. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. Well, let me zoom out here. So it sits right here, and what it would allow me to do is, let me take one of these bolts I got here. So what it would allow me to do is take and mount my ion game cameras out there. So then I said, well, you know, I want to look at different locations. So I wanted to be able to hang one from the top rail, one from the front. And so I basically took that and then redesigned it again. I made this smaller to where it would fit on the rails, on the smaller rails, and I extended one out. Now what I do, and I'm holding these up, these I print just a little small piece. I print just a little small piece, little thin piece. Instead of printing the entire thing, I print maybe about 10 millimeters tall of what I'm going to do, what I'm doing, something like that. And that way I can test fit it and make sure that let me back out a little bit on this and make sure that it fits before I waste all the time and everything needed to do that. So on the front, I needed to extend this out so that when the bed, when it's finished, this bed will come all the way out to bring the part out. And I wanted this to clear it so that if I had the camera sitting on there, it wouldn't hit it. I also wanted one that I could hook up on the top to look down. So once I did the test, then I turned around and printed the full-size pieces. So anyway, that was one of the things I did. The other thing that I've done, and I'm working on a little bit better revised version of this, this is a quick attach clip for my Sony tripod. And I have it on my Sony camera, but I only have one, and I wanted one that I could use with my ions, or eventually if I wanted to put my cell phone on there. So I printed this out and put a bolt in, and this one fits fairly good. It's a little bit loose, so I'm going to do an adjustment on that. I did this last night while I was sleeping, printed this out. It took maybe about an hour. It's an initial thing. It's a quick clip, a quick attach for the ions. And let me grab one of those. So anyway, this was a quick attach for the ions. I have the original ones are mounted on my tractor out there, but I wanted some more of them and to where I can make some custom ones. Now, this is the part that goes in the camera, or on the bottom of the camera, and it slides in here and locks in. So instead of me having to take that off every time I wanted to mount it to something else, I'm making some of these that will go on areas like this. I may do, glue them on. So I made this original one. I said, well, you know, if I have to, I glue it. It has no bolt hole or nothing else. This again is taken from a file that I got on Thingiverse, and I modified it a little bit. Now, the one thing I did notice is when this is mounted to the camera, the clearance here on the top is a little too snug. It will go, but it's hard to fit. So what I've done and what's printing on there right now is I've actually trimmed this edge down just a hair, maybe half a millimeter. I've trimmed that edge down to give clearance between this and the camber bottom. I also put a hex place for a hex bolt. Same thing like I did on these. Same thing where I made these little hex indents in there. There again, I don't know if you can see that in the hole. And so that I could stick a 1/4 through there and it would hold in. And of course bored a hole through it so that if I didn't want to glue it, I could bolt it on. So I'm going to take and eventually do some more mods on these and make different mounts to go on the tractor. So that's what I've kind of been up to with the printer. I tell you what, I really like the Anycubic Chiron. I'm glad I bought it over the Ender 3 series. I know Ender has a wide base one like this, CR10 or whatever. I think it's what it's called. It's got a bigger base. I don't know. And they're gonna, I'm not sure on the gantry lift for the Z-axis. This one has dual steppers on either side, tool drive rods, so it's not raising it with one side and hoping everything stays level. The Enders, I know on their smaller ones, they only drive from one side up and down. The other side is folded, so anything binds, it could cause that to tilt just a hair, which would change the dimension between the print head and what it's printing. I know some people have made some upgrades for the Ender 3 series, which will then allow it to have double Z-axis drives, but this already came with it. So anyway, that's what I've been doing with my 3D printer right now. I've got plans for a lot of other stuff I'm going to be printing for it. Most of it's going to be things that I can use. I'm not into printing all the little fancy figurines and stuff from different movies and all that kind of. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in making things that I can actually use. You know, I've got a Porter cable 18-volt flashlight, and years ago I broke the bulb in it, and then I took it apart for some reason, I guess to see what bulb it was, and I never got it. Anyway, for some reason or another, there's a little part in there that holds the bulb in that I apparently lost. I got a LED lamp for it, and so I temporarily made a thing out of a coffee can lid, but I'm going to look at reprinting the part that I lost, or a part, maybe not exactly, because you can't even get a picture of the part anymore, that helps hold the lamp in. So I'll see about that, and I'm going to be printing a part for that. But yeah, that's why I got it. I got the 3D printer to make parts that I actually use. Now, if they need to be stronger or whatever else, there's different types of filament you can use. If I really needed it real strong, I could print one out, smooth it a little bit, make a mold of it, and then print it with, and then mold it with a extremely tougher material. The thing of it is this gives me the ability to make parts, and although they're not metal parts or anything like that, you know, a lot of the stuff I need to make is going to be can be made out of plastic or rubber or something like that. So if I could design the part, print it, whatever else, so much the better. The other learning curve is the 3D modeling software. Now Tinkercad, which is free, it's web-based and everything like that, it's extremely easy to use, but it's got quite a few limitations and quite a few problems. So I'm going to be learning FreeCAD, which is another free one, but it's a downloadable, and it seems to be a whole lot more powerful. There's another one out there. I can't think of the name of it. I'll try to just pop up the name of it here on the video. That is free to use for nonprofit stuff for a while, and then it looks like you got to pay for it. So I'm like, well, why should I invest all my time learning a CAD program they're going to make me pay, you know, a ton of money for after the free use it for nonprofit trial or usage ends. Now what I was noticing, I'm not sure if that's a fact, the people that are using it in Australia, it's like a 3-year thing. Here in the United States, when you bring up the site and stuff like that, it's 1 year. Well, I'm not going to invest my time learning a CAD program that after a year they're going to make me pay for, when I'm only using it for my personal stuff and making that. I'm not making money off of what I'm designing. It would be different if I was young and I was going after a career at designing 3D models and things. That would be different. It would be understandable, but I'm not going to invest my time and money. There's some other ones out there. There's another one that allows you to use it for free. It's web-based. It allows you to use it for free if you make everything you design available to anybody else that wants to use it. And so that's an option too, because most of the stuff, if I was going to do mine, is not going to be top secret. Anyway, love the printer. Now, it is slow, but they're all slow. You know, this isn't Star Trek. Walk up to the replicator and go, you know, computer, da-da-da, this. It doesn't work that way, okay? It'll take, like this little part right here with the modification that I made on it is, takes about an hour to print. But, you know, the thing's a robot. I just tell it to start, and it takes off doing it. And so the whole time we started, it was down at nothing. You can see it's probably about right here. So it's not too bad. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully we're going to be doing some more tractor videos before long. The weather's starting to change. We apparently came out of a drought. It's been raining pretty good constantly for 3 days. It's getting to be a mud hole out there. But that's where we went. We went from 3 to 4 months of absolutely no rain to now it's raining and it doesn't seem to want to stop. The weather's starting to cool down, so like I said, as time goes on, we'll be back out making more tractor videos. So I got to get busy on these camera mounts that I'm going to be mounting all over the tractor. You know, now if any other people have tractors out there and you need a camera mount for your tractor, and I've got one designed up, just let me know. And I'll give you the design files if you got a 3D printer. You know, if you ask real nice, and I know you and you've supported my channel in the past and everything else, I may even print you one and send it to you. Who knows? Depends on what kind of generous mood I'm in. But yeah, I'm going to make some mounts that fit on the ROPS, mounts that fit up on the front end loader, to view the bucket and everything else. I've got ideas for mounts, so be mounting cameras all over the place. I want it where I can real quick move a camera from one location to another. I have 3 of the ions. I've got my current cell phone that I use, plus an old one that will still record. So I've got quite a few videos. I do the audio is recorded on a Zoom H1, and I'm using a wireless lavalier for that. Later I'm going to get a dual wireless because there'll probably be some videos that I want to include my wife in, and so I want to pick up her audio as well. But anyway, again, I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. I really appreciate everybody that has subscribed to my channel. If you like what I'm doing, you want to see more, you want to support me, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and click the little bell. Like I said, I was down for a while due to the health. The health is getting better. So hopefully we'll get some more going on here. Catch you on the flip side.